Doug Collins with his connections to Detroit. Lost by 22 last weekend. Take a look now at the Southwest Airlines starting lineups. Southwest Airlines dedicated to keep America flying. When you're ready to fly, Southwest Airlines is here. So with all the changes, here's the way the dust settles. Gary Payton, Brent Barry at the guard. Jerome James in the middle with Rashard Lewis and Desmond Mason as the forwards. For Washington, Doug Collins made a switch with Tyrone Nesby, the veteran from UNLV, going in there at guard with Chris Whitney. Christian Laettner, Kwame Brown is in the lineup now. The rookie, along with Michael Jordan. Let's take a look at the middle. Genuine. You can see he's got a soft splint on his right ankle. And Collins also made a defensive adjustment, bringing Rip Hamilton to the bench and inserting Tyrone Nesby to start opposite Chris Whitney. Hamilton, while he has been scoring, has not been competing as intensely as Doug Collins would like to see. The tip is won by the Supersonics, and Payton will take it high on the right side. Payton will jump it to Rashard Lewis, faces up on Kwame Brown. Steps back on a 19-year-old youngster. The flip is up and rattles in and out. Rebound, Tyrone Nesby. The Wizards were out-rebounded by an historically fine rebounding team, the Golden State Warriors, on Friday, 45-27. Boy, that burned a few people in the Wizards organization. Namely this man, number 23, Michael Jordan. He gets Mason into the air, shoots over, and that one rattling off. Rebound held by Rashard Lewis.
Nice job of Desmond Mason keeping his feet that possession.
Jerome James gets the start for the Sonics in the pivot. Payton left side, fires off a jumper rimming. Into the hands, tracked down to the baseline by Kwame Brown. Baker was a late scratch in this one because of a contusion to the left knee. That's the official word. It's too bad because he had averaged nearly 22 points and 8 rebounds in his 4-game set here on the East Coast. He really had his momentum going. Whitney outside for 3 at short. Nesby the rebound. Slashed and fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2.
And Nesby inserted into the lineup because he does compete. He's a very high-energy athlete, a great athlete, and you have to block him off the boards. The Wizards do a great job with their small lineup of getting to the offensive board, so that'll be a key defensive rebounding for the Sonics this afternoon.
Nesby in his 4th season. The 6'6" forward swings up the free throw, rattles off. Christian Laettner starting this afternoon, along with Kwame Brown and Michael Jordan up front. Sonics won twice last year against the Wizards, here and away. Free throw by Nesby is good, and the Supersonics trail the Wizards 1-0. We should also add, while we're setting the personnel for you, that Calvin Booth and Antonio Harvey would be available to play for the Sonics this afternoon. James backs down, turns, straightens, following 10-footer, backs off the glass. Kwame Brown with a rebound. Sends it ahead to Chris Whitney. Whitney, a 3-point threat. You don't want him floating around the ring, do you, Billy?
You certainly don't, and you see why. Out of Clemson, he knocks him down going off the dribble or from a stationary position.
Whitney fading off a step back, putting the Wizards on top, 3-0. Payton on the pick and roll. James rolling. The bounce pass was there. James didn't collect it. Threw his hands out of bounds. It will be Wizards ball.
And the Sonics want to use a lot of pick and rolls involving Jordan to make him work on both ends of the floor. Jerome James has to catch the ball before he can make his move.
Whitney works it into front court, left side to Tyrone Nesby. Nesby looking for Brown, working the block right side. He's fronted by Lewis. Now they bring it the other side, and with it, Michael Jordan. Tosses outside to Whitney, left side to Nesby. Running to the inline, running right-hander, up and in. Tyrone Nesby scores, going to the rack hard.
Good ball movement that time by the Wizards. Moving, taking advantage of the seams, and getting to the basket.
Jordan has had the early matchup on Payton. Outside to Mason, got caught in the air by Nesby. Tried to throw to James and threw it out of bounds.
Well, one of the advantages of having a great athlete like Nesby, he can make defensive plays just like that.
Second Sonic turnover. Watch on the isolation now as Jordan takes Mason in deep. They throw over the front. Jordan was there at the rim, tried to softly roll it up there, but it rattled out. Mason hauls it down, brings it the other way for the Sonics. Jordan shooting 40% on the year from the field in 36 minutes per. And you can see now Mason on the mismatch with the 6'2" Whitney, had him on the block, and a foul called on Whitney.
Well, you won't see too many people try to throw a lob pass over Desmond Mason the way he jumps. But there's another guy that he's guarding that has some hops too, but he couldn't convert that play.
The other thing that he has is a bigger upper body than I've ever seen on Jordan. He has really expanded that chest, shoulders, and arms. Playing more of that power game on the block now, particularly against a guy that's 6'5" and Desmond Mason.
Well, when you get a little older, you get wiser, you get stronger. You don't have to play with the quickness that you have to play with when you're younger. Now he's learning how to use his mind better, which he's always been a great strategist, but using his body and his strength much more than his quickness these days.
20-second timeout called by the Sonics. And they break ranks, come out onto the floor. To bring it in bounds is Brent Barry, and he will have 14 on the shot clock. Payton will come to get it. Once again, Jordan will knee up on the glove. Kind of a flashback to the 96 finals. Payton coming off the Lewis screen, hard cut into the lane, spins, going lefty off the window, arcs it up high and in. What a play by the glove. Bringing that one up from wallet level. Beauty. 5-2 count Wizards. 8:56 to go, first quarter. Brown mid-block right side. Throws outside to Whitney at the point, 11 to shoot. Whitney being watched by Gary Payton. Goes to the right side to Nesby. Then Jordan on the post-up. Blocked by Barry, and a foul called as James was there as well.
Gary doing a nice job getting into the pick and roll that last possession. And as he does, it's unbelievable going one way, sidestepping the pick and roll, being able to change directions and use his left hand. You know, it's amazing. A lot of people don't know that he writes left-handed. And he prefers to use his left hand on penetration, which is quite unusual for a guy that's right-handed.
Jordan hits the free throw. Michael fired off 30 attempts in the loss to Golden State on Friday and scored 32 of his 31,573 points. Which trails only Kareem and Malone, all time in points. 7-2 score Wizards.
Not a bad career.
No, not a bad group of guys. 8:39 to go in the first quarter. Barry at the point over to Mason, shooting up the screen. He's open for the fall-away jumper. Soft as cotton, down it goes.
And that's just something the Sonics are going to have to do, get offense out of their half-court sets, which they haven't done in the last couple of games.
Wizards lead here by 3 with possession. Trying to bust to the baseline is Kwame Brown. The 19-year-old, born in Charleston, South Carolina, went to school at Glenn Academy down in Georgia.
Sonics foul number 33.
Going to be a nice player.
Oh, he has so many skills, can play inside and outside. It's just going to be a matter of him maturing. Has a lot of skills like former NBA player Chris Washburn without the personal issues.
Laettner feeds over to Jordan. Gives Mason a little peek of the shoulder, then settles for a fall-away jumper that rattles off. Sonics bring it up, Barry to Payton. Kick pass to Bones, fakes the three, shovels to the glove. He'll make contact with the ball and send it here to Mason. Funnel it low to James. Backs down, powers a hook over Laettner. Wild. That one rimming hard. Rebound grab by Tyrone Nesby.
Good defense by Laettner. James has lost his rhythm. He's going to have to find it back in this game.
7-4 count Wizards. 7:45 to go in the first period. Jordan flings it right side to Whitney. Out on top to Laettner. One-on-one on Lewis. He'll settle for the jumper, and he nailed it. There's Christian Laettner from long range.
Well, Christian, more of a small forward than a power forward, prefers to face the basket than to play with his back to the basket. Nice shot by Christian Laettner.
Brent Barry wants to set the play. Payton comes off the screen, and Barry throws it by Jerome James. That was a poor decision on the passer. James was not ready, and you have to consider who the target is. You got a young, inexperienced 7-footer in there.
Well, James a little out of sync offensively, not into the game mentally, which Nate McMillan has talked about a great deal. Be prepared mentally for the games. I'm sure he was surprised by the start this afternoon.
3 turnovers on the Sonics. Art Long will come in for the Sonics. Whitney covered by Payton, bounces off to Laettner. Back to Whitney to the baseline. The step-back jumper rattles off. Rebound grab by Mason. Shovels out ahead of Payton. Comes to midcourt, puts it behind the back, lost it right to Laettner. Whitney leaks out, gets the lead pass to the glass, and lays it up and in.
Again, turnovers early, hurting the Sonics, preventing them from getting into their half-court sets where they've been relatively effective.
Payton got a little surprised at midcourt that time and tried to put the dribble behind the back. He lost it. Here's Mason in the corner. From in front of his own bench, he'll launch, miss it. Barry keeps it alive, soaring into the weak side, but Laettner comes up with it in the clutter, ahead to Nesby, has to step to the hole for the lay. And the bucket won't count. Apparently basket interference. Nesby might have been in the cylinder.
Well, good break for the Sonics. You look at Gary Payton trying to slash the ball away. Christian Laettner and Kwame Brown touching it while it was in the cylinder.
Yeah, Laettner was up in there. 7-point lead. Long will roll off the screen, get a feed from Payton, goes to the hole and lays it in. Boy, he slipped that screen and was wide open into the lane.
Well, that's one of the ways to prevent the double teams on the pick and roll by slipping the screen.
11-6 count, Wizards by 5, 6:10 to go first quarter. Ball meanwhile, Brown, one dribble, attacks the rim, off balance, can't handle it. Ball ripped away by 3 Sonics, faces Lewis and Payton. Gary ends up with it, up the floor he comes. Baseball's right side to Lewis. Shows, dribbles baseline, shut off outside the bones. Oh, he had an intriguing look on his face. Bounces to Payton, cutting by traffic, missed the shot, followed by Art Long. Oh, it just tipped off the back rim into the hands of Tyrone Nesby.
Nice sequence by the Sonics. Just couldn't get the shot to go.
Jordan the other way. He threw Mason into the air for the foul.
And this particular play is what Nate McMillan said that the Sonics had to avoid this afternoon. Jordan with the pump fake, the foul, and going to the free throw line.
Mason with his first foul of the afternoon. 5:41 to play in the first quarter, and the score Wizards 11, Sonics 6 on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. 11-6 to count. Washington leading Seattle with 5:47 to play in the first quarter. Are you ready to play the Sonic Superstat Sweepstakes? Tonight's players and stats for the game are Brent Barry. If he attempts 7 3-point field goals, or if Rashard Lewis outscores Michael Jordan, or if Gary Payton scores 10 or more points. I like the odds on that one. Log on to register and stay tuned for names to be announced later in the telecast. The Sonic Superstat Sweepstakes. We need some echo or something on the mic here to make it sound authentic. Log on to supersonics.com now for your chance to play. Here he is, Michael Jordan at the line for the first of 2 shots.
Yeah. Desmond Mason fell for the pump fake that time, and there's an expression. If you stay on the floor, you can accomplish more. Desmond Mason been on the bait like a big fish, and Jordan at the line for 2.
And the big fish knocks down a couple of free throws. Jordan shooting 79% at the line, getting about 6 attempts per ball game. 5:35 remaining first quarter play. Payton at the top of the key, pass left side to Barry. Fakes, drives, draws, kicks to Lewis. The 3 is up and short, running off into the corner and out of bounds. And the Wizards take possession. The Wizards lead it 13-6.
And Rashard Lewis still trying to find his legs after playing a lot of minutes in those overtime games against Orlando and Miami.
Seattle now 3 for 11, Billy, 27% shooting. The Wizards' early shooting here is 4 for 10. Nesby with the ball out on the perimeter, waiting for Michael to set up. Michael gets it, throws out of a double team. They rotate to the weak side. Whitney tried to enter to Brown, knocked down, but a quick hands of Payton. Payton comes up with it. Across midcourt with a high left-hand dribble. Finds Lewis out of the corner. Looked like he elevated pretty good on that jumper, but it wouldn't go. That rim's tight. Rebound, Kwame Brown.
Well, Sonics having the opportunity tonight, not able to convert, but they'll have to keep hanging around as they've done in the last 3 games.
Jordan levitates for the long flip. That one off. Lewis the rebound. That's his third. Barry threads his way to the top of the key. Hands off in a dribble exchange to Payton. Feathers it over to Art Long. He'll turn, study Laettner, and sends up a fall-away brick. Rebound grabbed by Michael Jordan. Look at Jordan handling between the wickets. Nowhere to go. Sonics bring a lot of power his way with Mason and Lewis showing. And then Laettner over there on the strong side throws an elbow for a foul.
And Desmond Mason, once again, as he did against the Boston Celtics, frustrating the offensive low post player, Christian Laettner, baiting him into a charging foul.
You could read the lips of Doug Collins over there on the Wizards bench a moment ago.
Good thing he wasn't on screen, huh?
He wears his emotions on his sleeve, Doug Collins does. He's always been a very emotional coach. Early coaching days, the age of 35 with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. You were on that team, weren't you?
I was actually part of the coaching and scouting staff.
Here comes Payton across midcourt. He bounces off to Brent Barry. Bones one-on-one on Whitney, 14 to shoot. Flips one over him, up and in. Brent Barry, a mid-range jumper from the left side.
And this could be a key matchup with Jordan guarding Payton. Barry will have to take advantage of Chris Whitney inside and out.
Wizards by 5. Jordan will sling it over to the left side to Rip Hamilton. He averages about 17 and a half a game. 10 to shoot for Michael. Mason gets up on him. He's forced into a 3 and he missed it. Rebound grab by Payton. Looks down the floor. And Barry on the left wing. Hard cut by Bones up into the lane. A little backhand flip. Won't go, but Art Long right there at the top. Tap Taps it back in.
Nice sign for Brent Barry, getting to the basket again. Art Long being alert, giving this team some good minutes.
I like the way Brent's playing right now, picking his spots. He's being solid on defense. Whitney outside for a three. Throws it home.
Well, in rotations, you have to find Chris Whitney. He is an excellent three-point shooter.
16-10, the Wizards on top. Art Long with it on the block. Payton on a dribble handoff. Jordan intercedes, has the steal. Jordan bounces to the middle of Whitney. Broken up on the back flow by Mason. Picks it away from Jordan. Mason will bring it out of backcourt. Payton will take it. They open up the left side of the floor. He's one-on-one on the smaller Whitney. He's going to try to get him down there and post it. But Jordan shows a double team. Gary scampers into the lane, off balance, sends a bullet pass outside to the open shooter. Brent Barry hammers in a three-pointer set up by the glove.
Great find by Gary Payton. And this is a play they worked on a lot in Sonics practice yesterday. Double team, kick the ball out to the open shooter.
Wizards lead by 3. Payton looks deep into the eyes of Whitney. Whitney throws it left side to Jordan. Feathers it low to the big man, Kwame Brown. He draws a green screen in low. Outside, Whitney, another jumper. He was just inside the arc. And again, the Sonics were slow to get to him.
You can't be a half a step slow getting to Chris Whitney. He can really shoot the basketball.
Whitney with 10 points, Billy. He's hit 4 out of 6 now. Wizards by 5. Payton draws a double team in the corner. Jordan now picks up in single coverage the glove. He spins him right into the lane, goes hard to the rack, makes contact with Whitney, and a foul call on Chris Whitney. Oh, no, they're going to give it to Jordan for the hold. Timeout called with 2:19 to go in the first. The score, the Wizards 18, the Sonics 13. And we'll return in a moment on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Here in the nation's capital, the score stands the Wizards 18 and the Sonics 13 with 2:19 left here in this first period of play. Brent Barry will get a breather as Earl Watson steps in. Look at the pass from Payton out of a triple team, Billy, to Brent Barry.
Again, it's something the Sonics worked on in practice, knowing that when the ball went into the low post, Gary Payton was going to be doubled. The perimeter players had to move in a spot where Gary could find them. Brent did, and knocked down one of his threes.
Gary Payton to the line for the first of 2 free throws. Vladimir Radmanović, Art Long on the floor, along with Earl Watson and Desmond Mason. The Sonics are short-handed. With Ben Baker out of the lineup, contusion to the left knee. Calvin Booth still ailing from his sprained ankle, and Antonio Harvey on the bench as well. Could be used if need be, but he has had tendonitis in his knee, which curtailed his activity. 2 free throws through by Payton put the Sonics to within 3. Watson D's up on Whitney. That's a good matchup. Corey Alexander in the lineup now, along with Rip Hamilton. Covered by Payton. It's all over Hamilton. Gets off a tough shot. Man, he made alterations in midair, but was able to zero in on it.
Looked like the game-winning shot that Eddie Jones made against Miami the other night.
Tough one. Payton now working Hamilton into front court left side. Jordan, by the way, in his early shift for the Wizards, went 0 for 5 with 4 of 4 shooting from the free throw line. Here's a Sonic turnover. Offensive foul called. And this one is on Art Long. So that, a turnover to the Sonics. They're 6th of the game.
Well, at least he's doing it, setting the screen. It looked like he was there in plenty of time, but evidently.
You will see him again. Here comes Whitney into the lane to the glass. Finger rolls it up, left it short. Rebound, Art Long needs help. Payton will come back to oblige. Up it comes to Watson. Earl bounces low with it. Mason on the block. Double team. Hamilton digging away at it. Mason throws to the open shooter. It's Radmanović. A 3-stroke. Smooth as silk, but short. Hamilton directs the traffic as he heads up the floor, switching right to left hand. Sends it in the corner to Nesby. Now to Kwame Brown. Big man will turn right into the arms of Long, who jabs it free and sends it ahead to the glove. Payton working in traffic, bounces off to Earl Watson. Earl to Long, to the glass. He powers it up and in. What a play as he got between 2 forwards, Nesby and Alexander. They had no chance.
Well, Art Long providing the Sonics with some very sound minutes here in the first quarter.
Long with 6 points, 20-17 Wizards. 45 seconds to go first quarter. Mason steps in front of Kwame Brown, has a pick, make it Long with a steal. Throws ahead to Mason. Mason baseline right to Radmanović. Pumps, drives, leans in on the way to the hole, and they call an offensive foul on Radmanović.
Art Long doing another great defensive job. 2 steals in a row. Radmanović taking it to the rack. Probably should have pulled up for the little 2 to 3 dribble pull-up jump shot that time, but a good thought in taking it to the hole instead of bombing away from the 3 as he's been prone to do in earlier games.
And you know he's going to learn that, Billy. And this is the 8th game of his pro career. But it's awfully hard to teach a young guy to go to the basket as strong as he does. So when he does, hey, why not?
Well, and they've been telling, the coaching staff has been telling him, go to the basket strong. So now he's got to know when to go and when to pull up for the jump shot.
Veteran Popeye Jones in the lineup. He is their leading rebounder, coming off the bench at 8 a game now. 6'8". Popeye with a clean head, has the ball tipped away by Mason, recovered by Barry, out ahead to Payton, and a foot race with Hamilton. He'll beat Rip to the glass and lay it in, and the Sonics are right there, down one with 18 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And they're doing it with their defense, which is what we talked about at the top of the show, Kevin.
Sonics playing small with Mason, Payton, Watson, Radmanović is your 5, and Brent Barry in the lineup. 5 to shoot, Alexander spins, good shooter, blocked by Radmanović, grabbed by Watson. Payton's got a shot at midcourt, he'll loop it up, and it's just off the mark. Outstanding defense by the Sonics to close the quarter and pull within one. We'll be back to get things rolling in the second quarter in a moment on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. (20-19) the score. Wizards lead the Sonics as we head to the second quarter of play. Billy McKinney.
Well, Art Long giving this team a lift off the bench with his defense, showing that not only can he steal the ball, but he has power inside. And we talked about at the top of the show how important it would be for somebody to come off the bench and elevate this team. We thought maybe Rashard Lewis, Brent Barry, but it's been Art Long with 3 steals, great defense, and being on the boards, too.
Sonics have scored 11 points off of turnovers, and the Sonics have outscored the Wizards in the paint 12-4. 22nd timeout called by Doug Collins to open this second period of play. In fact, you look at the game clock, it hasn't even turned over yet. They're still showing 12 minutes up there. That was a quick one.
It certainly was. One of the things that happens when you start playing great defense, you get easy hoops that energize your team and elevate your confidence in shooting percentage.
And, of course, that's what the Sonics need in the 5th game of 5 in a week. Payton is out there along with Rashard Lewis, Brent Barry, and Earl Watson. Wizards will bring the ball in bounds. Courtney Alexander will bring the ball out of backcourt, covered by Brent Barry. Alexander, 6'6", 205 from Fresno State, now in his second year. We'll hand off to Tyronn Lue. Lue from Nebraska played for the Lakers for a couple of years. A long jumper off the mark, tipped by Payton to Barry to Watson. Finds the open man, Lewis, wide open for the stuff.
Earl Watson doing a great job in transition, drawing the defense and finding an open Rashard Lewis for the dunk.
Sonics with their first lead, 21-20. 11:22 to go in the second period. Barry watches Alexander up top, 13 to shoot. Right side to Lue. Lue will swing into Rip Hamilton. He will float a high one up there. It is an 18-footer for Hamilton.
Difficult shot to stop, but much like Boston, you have to make him put it on the floor instead of letting him seam it up and knock it down.
Run at him, getting his mug, force him to put it on the floor. Payton comes off a Radmanović screen. Gary then rolls right to the hole, riding Radmanović's back to the rack and laid it in with a scoop shot.
Gary Payton showing that he's not lacking energy after a 5-game trip.
8 points for the glove. Outside Hamilton again will pull up, and again will swish one.
Well, you have to play Rip Hamilton physical. He does not like contact, so you can't allow him that open jump shot.
24-23 to count. Radmanović will screen at the top, he'll roll, but Gary will give to Lewis for the 3, and he hits the home run.
Nor can you allow Rashard Lewis the open jump shot. Young Buck finding his stroke back.
And something that we talked about. Both Barry and Lewis have got to find that stroke in order to support Gary Payton's play this afternoon.
Rashard Lewis getting his feet set that time, not rushing his shot, knocking it down.
Lewis 2 for 5. Sonics playing small. The Wizards really are forced to play that way because of their paucity of talent on the front line. Here's Nesby driving into the lane, trying to take it hard into the corner with 2 hands, missed it. Rebound to Hamilton, his baseline jumper off the mark. Payton will grab the loose rock, comes to midcourt with a hard left hand, steps by Hamilton, sneaks between defenders to Brent Barry, coming from the weak side for the reverse up and in. Great
play by Gary Payton. Great penetration and great fine ball movement by Brent Barry.
28-24. Sonics by 4 with 9:51 to play in the half. We'll come right back to our nation's capital in a moment on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Sonics have taken the lead at 28-24. Gary Payton with 8 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Billy and a sensational find a moment ago.
And showing why he's one of the leading assist players in the NBA right now, finding Brent Barry, who did a great job of moving without the basketball.
2 very good basketball plays. Barry moving without the ball. James Worthy used to talk a lot about when you're off the ball, you've got to go to the level of the ball handler, make that pass a little easier. Barry did just that. Here's Tyronn Lue with a basketball. Lue will enter to Popeye Jones, back to the bucket, 9 to shoot. Jones will turn, a half heave, rimming off, rebound Radmanović.
And the Sonics defense has been outstanding, collapsing in the low post. Hands are active. 13-4 scoring run.
Payton will dribble up into the corner, lost a handle, regains control, fires out of the corner, an air ball. Watson tried to keep it away from Lue, but couldn't. Lue will bring it up. Crossover blast, pull up, Drew Watson off his feet. There's a nice bounce pass to Watson, moving without the ball. Or making Hamilton moving without the ball to the bucket, laid it in.
Nice play by Tyronn Lue.
28-26. Sonics by a deuce. Hamilton reaches in on Lewis and a foul call, and that's a matchup the Sonics want to just milk if they can, as Lewis is post up on Hamilton.
Exactly, and the veteran Gary Payton recognized the mismatch on the screen and roll, goes right into Rashard Lewis so he can go to work on Rip Hamilton.
Now let's watch here as Mason comes into the game, as will Jordan. Bobby Simmons coming in, the rookie for the Wizards, stepping in as well. Let's see now just how active they keep Jordan on the defensive end. He'll be up on Radmanović. Jordan now standing, 12 with 11 on the shot clock with 10. Lewis drives into the lane, finds Radmanović for a charge call. As Lewis got into Lue had set his feet. He was outside the restricted area, so Dick Bavetta, that's a turnover on Seattle.
Well, good intention by Rashard in drawing the defense in, but you have to be under control. And what's going to happen, again, like the Boston Celtics game, Cutters are going to have to go through to create operating room for Rashard Lewis.
Now Mason going to try to make Jordan work a little bit here on the offensive end. As Jordan runs the point, swings it right side to Lue. Over it comes to Alexander. Goes baseline and getting hands on him was Radmanović.
And Courtney Alexander is a scoring machine. Went to Virginia, ends up at Fresno State, and he can put points on the board in a hurry. Either going to the basket, which he's very good at, left or right, or shooting jump shots. They got a real find when they made the trade for this young man.
Wizards bring it in bounds, and Lue handles at the point. 1-on-1 on Earl Watson.
Get over there, Rashard.
6 to shoot. Watson will, or Lue will. An air ball deflected by Simmons out of bounds. Sonics will take possession.
Well, if you can keep the Wizards taking those kind of shots, not running their offense, the Sonics will continue to build on the lead that they've established with their great defense.
Watson will bring it out of backcourt. Payton swings it right side to Mason. Met by Alexander. Now to Lewis over Radmanović. Deflected away. Watson comes up with it to the Radman. Drives in, sets his feet, powers up to the rack. Ball stripped, got it back. Turns, leans. Tried to muscle up a shot that wouldn't go. Jordan comes down with a rebound.
Nick McMillan wanting a foul, feeling that Radmanović was fouled.
Radmanović chases Jordan into the lane. He sneaks a pass to Alexander and was able to lay it in. Score tied at 28. Nice pass from Jordan. Right side, Watson to Lewis. Lifts off with that fine-looking jumper that wouldn't go. Radmanović had rebound position. Simmons shoved him and a foul called on Simmons.
Well, one of the things the Sonics had talked about prior to the game is keeping Jordan out of the paint. When he gets in the paint, a lot of bad things can happen. He's either going to score or he's going to find somebody that's capable of scoring.
Barry will bring it in bounds. New 24 on the clock. Tied at 28. Barry enters to Mason. Back to the bucket. Finds Watson for a three. Earl pops it up and in. Watson with a three-pointer. Sonics lead 31-28.
Excellent ball movement that time by the Sonics. Desmond Mason making the pass before the double team could reach him.
Now the Sonics come to trap Alexander in backcourt. He'll throw it. Diagonally front court left to Lue. 15 to shoot for the Wizards. Hamilton with it on the dribble. Breaks down Barry. Barry from behind recovers. Got a piece of the shot. But a foul call on Bones.
Hamilton showing there that he has the ability to not only knock down the outside shot, but to create a shot off the dribble, which makes it very tough to defend a guy like this. Just a little hesitation move. Good defense there, relatively good defense, but Radmanović has to not reach, but establish foot position there so he can draw the charge.
Hamilton's free throws up and in.
Hamilton, of course, out of the University of Connecticut, a great scorer there, coming in, trying to find his way in the NBA. He can put points on the board, too. They have a great 1, 2, and 3 combination here in Washington.
Hamilton averaging about 18 a game right now. He hits a couple of free throws. There's 10 in the quarter. Sonic set up. Barry will screen away, allowing Mason to come to the ball side. He's inside on Hamilton. Leaned up and over him, and a foul called. Mason couldn't coax in the shot, but he'll shoot 2.
Well, good recognition that time again by Desmond Mason, realizing that he's got size and strength on Hamilton. Hamilton a little too light to fight, a little too thin to win. Desmond very strong and a very good offensive post-up player.
Base to the line and the free throw up and in. Mason missing this. The ball flicked away by Radmanović. Grabbed by Watson in the traffic. Throws out to Lewis. Now to Barry. Hesitates, puts it behind the back, finds Watson in the corner. He fakes, puts a dribble on the floor, and walks with it.
Nice defensive hustle by Earl Watson that time. Got the happy feet on the pump fake. But this is a young man that's going to continue to grow because he's doing it on the defensive end of the floor, which will always please Coach Nate McMillan.
And you have to love Watson's demeanor. He's always very cool, very collected, very even. Whitney from the top of the key for the jumper. Nope. Simmons with a rebound. Right side to Hamilton. Watson ran out on him. You can see what happened. Hamilton missed the shot. Rebound grabbed by Mason. Hands off to Brent Barry. Drop pass to Mace for the 3. It's up and it's in. Desmond Mason. It's a 2-pointer. Apparently the foot was on the line. A gorgeous looking jump shot trailing. 34-30 the count. Give Barry the assist. That's the third assist for Brent Barry. The Sonics have 10 assists on 14 field goals made.
Well, that's a key, and we'll talk about that a little later.
Simmons drops steps to the baseline. He's doubled outside to Hamilton. Again, Watson runs out on Hamilton, forcing him to contort for the jump shot. It's in and out. He's fouled. He'll shoot 2.
Well, Hamilton, borrowing a page out of Michael Jordan's book with the pump fake, step through. You have to keep your feet and just play good defensive position here. Hamilton pump fakes. Radmanović goes for the blocks. He steps through for 2 free throws.
Check Radmanović. Just his second foul. As Hamilton steps up. The word here this afternoon is the Sonics prepared to start this game is that they would play shorthanded without Ben Baker with a contusion to the left knee, which is unfortunate because he had been averaging close to 20 points and 8 rebounds on the 4 games of this road trip. However, it has forced the Sonics to play small, and they have been successful at it.
And more energetic.
Yep, 34-32, 5:49 to go, second period. Mason with it, trying to enter to Lewis. That was a flat pass with no tempo. Laettner able to flick it free. Gives to Alexander, drives into the lane, rams into Payton. The bucket won't count. Gary Payton was there to stand the ground and draw the charge.
Amazing. 11-year vet taking the charge. Good defense by the Sonics.
Timeout on the floor with 5:41 to play. The score, the Sonics 34, the Wizards 32 on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Sonics lead the Washington Wizards 34-32, 5:41 to go here in the second quarter of play. Let's take a look at our contestants this afternoon in the Sonics Super Stats Sweepstakes. If Brent Barry attempts 7 3-pointers, Scott Filkin of Kent wins. If Rashard Lewis outscores MJ, Kerry Gruen of Seattle wins. And if Gary Payton scores 10 or more, Peter Olmstead of Redmond is the winner in the Sonics Super Stats Sweepstakes. Alexander and Mason the matchup. Mace with 10 to shoot twitches, elevates, missed it. Followed his own miss, keeps it alive. Barry tips it to Mace in the paint, an 8-footer up and in. Laettner and Whitney went down. They collide. And Whitney is really shaken up. He's limping up the floor.
Nice hustle by Brent Barry, tipping the ball out to an open Desmond Mason. Great team play.
Sonics by 4. Jordan runs the point with Mason stalking him, and a timeout called by Doug Collins and the Wizards. Well, I don't like the body language of the Wizards. Sonics could really take advantage of a somewhat disenchanted Washington Wizards team right now when we return on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. 36-32 our score. The Sonics leading the Wizards.
Well, Brent Barry doing an outstanding job getting back to playing aggressive basketball, doing it on both ends, making shots, finding his teammate, and rebounding the basketball, which he's done very well this season.
Payton with 8, Lewis with 4, and Barry and Payton with 4 apiece. Wizards set up Laettner. Feeds over to Jordan. Back to the bucket. Reverse pivot. Fallaway jumper. Swirls and pops out. Rebound deflected. Out of bounds. It'll be Sonic ball. And MJ now 0 for 6 from the field.
And the Sonics frustrating the Wizards with their team defense and gaining confidence on the other end of the floor as a result.
The Sonics had 4 steals in the first quarter. Jordan's going to try to run Michael off some screens. Comes off the Lewis pick. Michael comes to double Gary over to Lewis. One dribble goes middle. Sneaks in between Alexander and Laettner, and a foul's called.
Again, Gary Payton being double teamed, taking his time, showing poise, which he always does, and finding an open Rashard Lewis. Rashard, recognizing that there's a mismatch, dives to the basket, creating the foul.
Second foul on Courtney Alexander. The Soups bring it in bounds. Payton will take it. One-on-one on Michael Jordan. Lewis will come out to screen. Then he will pop back out for the 3 from Gary, in and out. Rebound, Jordan. Jordan will take it out of backcourt. 4:25 to go in the first quarter. Sonics by 4. 37% shooting for the Wizards. Jordan is 0 for 6. One-on-one on Desmond Mason. Backs in, ball ripped away. Barry came down to double team. Barry with a steal. Up in the front court. Cross court to Lewis. Outside to Mason. Trailing for 3. Forced to change it. Jump pass to Barry. Back to Mace. Mace wants to go one-on-one on Laettner. Clear out the right side. Mace to the middle, attacks the rack, lays it in lefty as he took the big 1-2 to the glass, Billy.
And nice call by Desmond Mason, knowing that he could get around Laettner, clears out Watson and takes him to the cup.
Mason with 9 in the game, 7 in the quarter. 38-32, Soups by 6. Sonics with their largest lead. Laettner in deep, low right side, holds the ball aloft. Lewis is there to chop it away. Laettner comes to get it, turns in the middle, drew him off his feet, and lays it up and in. The step around by Laettner.
Good poise by Christian Laettner that time, not losing his cool.
Payton ahead to Barry. Barry immediately angles left to right into the lane with Nesby on his hip and drew the foul. He got under the arm of Nesby for 2 shots.
Kevin, it's amazing when a team, this team, the Sonics team, plays good defense, it leads to aggressive offensive play. Brent Barry, not content with shooting the 3 today, getting back to his old self, driving to the basket.
And the Wizards, in the meantime, are slowly getting back on defense. Sonics are taking advantage of that. Barry hits the first but missed the second free throw.
And we talked about the Sonics had to rebound and run the ball was one of the keys to the game.
39-34, Soups by 5, 3:20 to go first half. Jordan bounces off to Rip Hamilton. Hamilton double teamed out to Jordan. He's 0 for 7, but tipped in by Christian Laettner.
Rashard Lewis just failing to put a body on Laettner. He's good around the basket.
Payton comes the other way. The bounce pass over to Mason. Faces up on Courtney Alexander. Backs him, turns, trying to step on. Goes left, he banks it in. They call an offensive foul on Mason.
That was very good defense by Courtney Alexander, keeping his feet. Desmond Mason puts him in the spin cycle down low, pumps fake. Courtney keeps his feet, good athlete, pretty darn good call.
Say it was the off arm of Mason. And he draws the foul, the turnover on the Sonics. They're 11th of the game. But the Wizards have not utilized those turnovers. Just 4 points off of Sonic turnovers. How about that? 13 to shoot. Jordan will give it up to Nesby. Hamilton for a 3. Hamilton's been hot.
And this is what happens when you have 3 guys that are so mobile on the perimeter. They can penetrate and dish.
Hamilton hit 5 of 7. Payton comes down. Pull-up jump shot missing. Rebound tipped into the hands of Watson beneath the rim. He's there to lay it in. The Sonics take the lead back at 41-39.
Rashard Lewis doing a nice job of tipping the ball to throw Watson for the rebound basket.
2:20 to go in the first half. Jordan operates. Looking for Laettner. Lewis will get out in front of him. Barry comes over to double Laettner. Then steps out on Jordan. Jordan hits the cutter Alexander, and he's able to roll it up and in.
Brent Barry electing the double team that time. Jordan finding the open man, cutting to the basket.
Payton the other way, backs down on Mike. Sends it outside to Mason. Payton wants it back one-on-one on Jordan. Crosses over left to right. Spins him baseline, hooks him, got up and under him and laid it in with the right hand. A magnificent move by Payton.
Gary was not to be denied that opportunity.
10 points for the Glove. 43-41 the score. Sonics lead it. And look at Jordan and Payton look at each other. Payton smiling at Jordan.
Shades of 96. These two are the best competitors in the game. Gary that time not wanting to be denied, and he was not.
To the Sonics, number 35, Art Long.
Somebody over here.
Two of the most competitive athletes in the game, probably in sports, on the court this afternoon. Payton and Jordan.
Wizards bring it in bounds. Laettner trying to bounce slow. Ball tipped away. Last touch by the Sonics. 1:39 left here in the half. 43-41. The Soups by 2. You know, Billy, I would agree with you in basketball. I can't think of two guys that are more intense. Here's Hamilton on the inbound, in and out. Payton with a rebound. Payton will give to Barry. Toss back to the glove, working on Michael again. Takes him to the middle. The 1-2, the fall back. Flips it up, missed it, but fouled. And Michael Jordan commits the foul on Gary Payton. It's his second.
And these guys are battling at it. Gary, knowing that he has an advantage, having been continuing to play in the post-up, both very physical right there. Glove with those great feet and great balance. Taking it to the basket, dipping the shoulder, couldn't get it to go down. Nice patience and strength by Gary Payton. 3 years ago, Jordan would have gotten that call. They wouldn't have called the foul. And right now he's talking to the official saying that's not a foul.
Payton hits the first free throw. Jordan implying the officials to see the other end. Payton's free throw off the mark. Art Long was there. Tipped it. Now the Wizards bring it up as they regain possession. 44-41. Sonics by 3 with 1:15 to go in the half. Jordan working the sideline on Gary Payton. Payton will get Jordan over to Brent Barry. Jordan will fire cross court to Hamilton. Takes right, cuts left, forced into a teardrop scoop over Art Long. He missed it. Long, though, he's able to tip it, but Jordan standing right there will grab it. A minute left. Jordan will call the play from the top, straddles the three-point arc. Nearly tipped it away. Payton was there, and it just did have a piece of it. Jordan will drop down the right side for the jumper. He's 0 for 8. Rimming into the hands of Art Long. He'll hand off to Payton. Speeds out of backcourt. He's going to run. Michael down the left side. Gun it in low to Mace. Mace will hold. Finds Lewis beneath the post. Turns right into Tyrone Nesby for a block.
Nesby again making a great defensive stop that time. The Sonics doing a nice job of moving the basketball. Desmond Mason with the hook pass. Richard turning the opposite way. Nesby with the rejection.
Sonics bringing in bounds with 13 to shoot. What a pass inside in deep. It's Art Long for the flush. Brent Barry on the inbounds finds Art Long beneath the rim on the weak side, Billy.
Great court vision and a great finish by the big man, Art Long, who's playing strong.
Barry with 5 assists, and he's been outstanding with 11 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds in the first half. 5-point lead for the Sonics. Laettner the fall back over Mason. No go. There's Pones again around the rack with a rebound. They're leaving it midcourt for Gary Payton. Payton coming off the Lewis screen. Spins. Hard cut. Going lefty. Trying to finish up and in. Gary Payton spinning through the clutter. Laid it home. And with 13 points, he's given the Sonics a 7-point halftime lead at 48-41. We'll be back with a recap in a moment on the Sonics Broadcasting Network.
A sensational game. They play very well. Their energy is high. Contribute that to Desmond Mason, who's starting now, playing with a smaller lineup. These guys not content, as you can be, going home with a loss on a 5-game trip, especially when you're tired.
Billy, in that second quarter, as you mentioned, the Sonics shoot 60% in the second quarter on 12 of 20 for 49% at half. The Wizards 8 for 21, 38%. But the thing that was interesting is the Sonics had 11 turnovers at half, but only 7 Wizards points off turnovers. The Sonics, while they have been turning the ball over, have been getting back in transition defensively. The Wizards have not been able to get those easy buckets, the runouts.
Their defensive pursuit has been excellent, and they haven't turned the ball at inopportune times that they've done in the last couple games in the fourth quarter.
Art Long will get the center in the middle for the start at center. And be in the middle for the Sonics to start the third. Whitney for 3, that's short. Jordan with a rebound. Remember, 0 for 8. This one up, and that's off. Rebound, Kwame Brown stripped and fouled beneath the ring.
and Nate McMillan not going to be happy allowing 2 offensive rebounds early here in the second half. You have to box out, get the defensive board so that you can run. You don't want to give this team any life or too many second chance opportunities.
Foul on Art Long is his second, and here is Kwame Brown to the line, listed at 6'11" and 240. Obviously, he's been hobbled with an ankle sprain, suffered in the second game of the year, and did come back and played substantial minutes on Friday in the loss to the Golden State Warriors.
He's going to be a good one. Give him some time, 3 to 5 years. You're going to hear a lot about this young man.
First pick in this year's NBA draft. It's a free throw or two. It's just one to pull the Wizards to it at 6. Payton doubles. So Art Long attacks the rim with a double pump. Forces change a shot by Brown. Long gets it back, turns, spins out of a double team with a hook that's blocked by Laettner, and the Wizards come up with it.
Wizards a good defensive sequence that time.
Laettner steps into a perimeter jumper. Missed it. Long hauls down the rebound.
Long doing a sensational job on the boards this afternoon.
Long out of Cincinnati with his 5th recovery. Barry pumps. Nice pass. Long rolling to the hole. Lays it up and in. And the 19-year-old from Glenn Academy in Georgia, Kwame Brown, the rookie,
Bones
stands
Berry.
befuddled in the lane.
Yes, excuse me. Bones Berry again, a great job with the pump fake into the lane for an easy basket to Art Long.
So the Sonics hold an 8-point lead, their largest of the afternoon. 10:59 to play on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. 50-42, the Sonics lead the Wizards. 10:59 to go here in the third quarter. And boy, is Art Long giving the Sonics a boost this afternoon.
Well, great ball movement by the Sonics around the perimeter. Brent Barry finding Art Long 10 points in 9 minutes of play. And I believe 6 rebounds today. So he's another guy that we talked about the importance of somebody stepping up, giving Gary Payton a hand, especially with Ben Baker out. Brent Barry stepped up, Desmond Mason, and Art Long is clamoring for some minutes off the bench there. Nice job, Art.
He is in the matchup now with Laettner as the Wizards bring the ball up the floor. Jordan wants to get that ball in the comfort zone on the post-up left side, but Long extends him out on the floor. Jordan with a spin move, reverse shot off the mark. And Jordan now is 0 for 10 for the ball game. Pass deflected by the Wizards out of bounds. Sonic ball on the attacking end with 19 to shoot.
Well, as quickly as he can go 0 for 10, he can make 10 in a row, too. So Sonics are out of the woods.
The Soups do hold an 8-point lead with 10:38 to go in the third quarter. They have possession. Lewis hands off to Payton, and he goes to work with Jordan on it. Fades off of a Mason screen, drops down to the corner, and off the ball a whistle. Illegal defensive 3 seconds on the Wizards, I believe. On Laettner, it is the call. And Barry now will shoot the free throw. The Sonics will have possession. Sonics have a real chance to put the hammer down on the Wizards here, Billy, in the opening 5 or so minutes of this third quarter.
Very important that they do. And you can see with the Wizards' body language that the Sonics are taking them out of their game on both ends of the floor. The Sonics have to recognize this and continue to put the hammer down.
Barry will bring it in bounds. The Sonics leading by 9. Payton works the width of the floor, 10 to shoot. Lewis is out there in some 2-man action to screen Jordan. He rolls away. Payton finds him with a bounce pass, and Lewis sends in a beauty right down the string. Perfect rotation. Nothing but cotton, and the Sonics lead it here, 54-42.
Sonics working the pick and roll. Payton stepping back. Kwame Brown didn't rotate back, which they're poor at doing. Lewis with the jump shot.
12-point Sonic lead. Jordan high on the right. Feeds to Kwame Brown. Double teamed with Brown. Reaching into 2 Sonics. Brown trying to go up and under. Slings it up there and hit the rim and bounced out, but he's going to draw the foul. I believe an Art Long.
Kwame Brown doing a nice job for a young man, 18 years old, keeping his presence under defensive duress there. But every time he touches the ball in the paint, Art Long swarming all over him. But the Sonics as a team doing a nice job of collapsing into the paint, making the Wizards earn their shots.
Third foul on Art Long, Billy. Kwame Brown at the line, missing the free throw. Here's Brown with the second, up and in. Heidi White is in the lineup for the first time this afternoon for the Wizards, and Christian Laettner on the bench. White is in the matchup with Art Long. Payton Pierce outside to get the ball. Takes Jordan down the left side of the lane. Reverses his track. Drives into the paint. Dishes outside of Mason. 7 to shoot. Over to Gary in the corner. Payton with 5. With 4. The step back pass to Barry. Turns. Gets up and under. A super. Hanging on the rim. Wouldn't go. Long long, the rebound. Pump fakes, turns, lost it. Tipped outside. Lewis regains possession. 20 to shoot. Payton to Mason. Fakes the three. Goes to the hole. Stops on the baseline. Leans outside to Barry. Cutting into the paint. And a whistle. 3 seconds in the lane. Whistle on the Sonics. Art Long.
A little too much ball movement that time. Art Long getting caught in the paint. Sonics had 12 assists at halftime, and we've talked about when they have 25 assists and more, they play extremely well. Last couple games, they've had 16 and 19. Much better ball movement this afternoon.
Sonics have just dazzled the Wizards in the paint, 32 to 14. Jordan with it. Wing right, met by Barry. Jordan explodes to the baseline. Pull-up jumper short. He's 0 for 11. Rebound, Kwame Brown. Out to Jordan. Short. He's 0 for 12. Rebound gathered in by Rashard Lewis. Jordan 0 for 12, and the crowd now sighing. Payton on the point to Barry for a three. Got it, and Doug Collins needs a timeout. 14-point Sonic lead, 57-43. 8:44 to go in the third quarter. Collins won't pull the string yet. Right side with it, Tyrone Nesby. Ball above the head. Looking for Hamilton. Rip Hamilton will take it. Looks to Nesby. Fronted in there by Payton, and a foul called. This will be on Gary. Now, Gary is going to come out and talk to Derek Stafford about this call because Nesby had that right arm right in Gary's chest, fending him away.
Well, those are two very competitive guys again, and Nesby, very physical guy, very strong, trying to post up Gary Payton. That will be a great matchup.
Sonics are on a 21-5 run going back to the second quarter. Here's Hamilton driving into the lane. Loops a pass beneath the rim to Nesby, and he is fouled. Tyrone Nesby to shoot two. Fouls on Rashard Lewis. The Sonics lead here by 14. 8:26 to go in the third quarter.
And clicking on both ends of the floor. You're seeing their offensive execution in the half-court sets. Good spacing, good ball movement. They're knocking down shots. On the defensive end, their defensive rotations are solid today, and they're making it very frustrating for the Wizards to get off open looks, which is what you have to do with a good jump shooting team.
This Wizards team has looked on as Michael Jordan has gone 0 for 12. That last series was startling. Two baseline jump shots, both short, both open. Nesby hits the second free throw. 13 points, Sonic lead with 8:21 to go in the third quarter. Jordan averages 36 minutes a game. Here's Payton with a lob pass to Long, and actually caught the net and bounced away into the hands of Rip Hamilton. Sonics have got to limit the turnovers. That's 13 for the game. Two of them here in the quarter. Kwame Brown. Rotated left side to Nesby. Looking for Jahidi White. White backing down Art Long. Goes to the middle. Turnaround jump hook is short. Rebound batted. Grabbed by the glove. He's breaking out. He's got Green with it. Up the middle to Barry. Fills the lane and packs it home on the run.
Again, Kevin. Rebound, outlet. You can beat the Wizards down court. Great fast court basketball by the Sonics.
15-point Sonic lead. It's 7.5 minutes remaining in the game. Barry with 14 points. But 7.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Here's Nesby. Overplayed by Barry. Tips it away. Payton's got it. Got caught in the air and gave it away. Nesby will take it. He rams into Mason. And the Sonics will get it back on a smart play from Desmond Mason.
Sonics, once again, they shot 49% in the first half, 60% in the second quarter. It all started with their defense. Once you rebound the ball, you can get out. Gary Payton leading the break, making the right play. Bones Barry finishing strong.
Well, Barry and Payton have combined for 27 points, 8 rebounds, 13 assists, and 10 for 17 shooting. And Gary Payton comes down and just flat pulls up and throws a three in the grill of the Wizards, and the Sonics lead by 18.
It's amazing how good defense makes your team feel good.
Outside, Kwame Brown running into the lane. Kwame trying to get up and under, and a foul call.
Well, Nate McMillan in practice said this is not a particularly physical team. Play them strong, play them physical, beat them up on defense when they go to the basket, challenge every shot, and they've followed his commands to a T today.
Foul on Lewis is his third. Kwame Brown comes to the line, and the Sonics, Billy, from three-point range now. And that three-pointer that Payton just busted, 6 for 11.
Well, the biggest difference, too, in the last two games, they haven't become enamored with a three-point shot, which is really what hurt them. And the amazing point, the stat, is that they're winning a war in the paint without Vin Baker.
Kwame Brown splits a pair of free throws. winning the war in the paint because they're getting to the basket, cutting to the hole. The court balance has been very good for the Sonics this afternoon. Art Long has done a wonderful job inside. Here's Lewis. He throws a three, and now Rashard Lewis starts to hammer away. Lewis now with 11 points. 65-45, Sonics by 20. Jordan up into front court, throws to Hamilton for three. In and out. Jahidi White with an offensive foul on the follow, and the Sonics will take possession of the ball.
Rashard Lewis finding his shooting groove, which means good news for the Sonics. Again, Gary Payton doing a great job of stretching the defense. Great pass in the right spot. Rashard Lewis with his feet set. Nothing but cotton.
Sonics had a 7-point lead at half. We mentioned this first 5 minutes of the third quarter would be crucial. Now they've taken advantage of it. They built it to a 20-point lead. Long slips the screen, drives into the lane, and is gripped and fouled. So Art Long will shoot two.
And Gary Payton doing a great job, not only scoring, but finding his teammates, making everybody better today. And this is a sign of great leadership in a veteran player, knowing that he has to have help without Ben Baker in the lineup. Ben Baker, we talked about again, providing 21 points and 8 rebounds on this trip. Out of the lineup, Gary Payton, Art Long, Brent Barry, and Rashard Lewis, Desmond Mason doing it collectively.
Tuesday, the Sonics are home to take on the Phoenix Suns. Hope you'll join us for some action at Key Arena. Stephon Marbury and the Phoenix Suns in town on Tuesday at Key Arena. Sonics by 19 as Hamilton drives into the lane and lays it up and in.
Just a good effort there on Rip Hamilton's part, getting into the lane, into the middle, want to keep him down the sideline.
Here's Payton driving in left to right, trying to get up and under. Kwame Brown had a hand on that scoop shot and a loose ball foul. This will be called on Art Long. The Sonics hold an 18-point lead at 65-47. 2:04 left in the third quarter. The Sonics over the limit, and to the line come the Washington Wizards.
Well, in spite of the lead, the Sonics have to remain focused and do what they've done well all afternoon. They have to play great defense, continue to distribute the basketball. Assist margin. Again, we talked about only 19 at Miami, 16 at New Jersey, 17 at Boston. Today they have 17, and their offensive flow is much smoother today. It's like silk.
Fed off that defense.
We're all silk. Yes.
The best guy. Here's White to the line, the free throw off the mark. Jerome James comes in now for Art Long, who picks up his fourth foul in 14 minutes, 10 points, 8 boards, and he was credited with 3 steals in the first half.
Great defense, great effort by Art Long that time, taking advantage of playing time. That's how you get yourself into a rotation.
Jahidi White with a free throw, throws it in, gets 1 and 2. The Sonics lead it here, 65-48 with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. The story for the Wizards, 34% shooting at home, and Jordan is 0 for 12. And having to chase Payton around doesn't help. James leans in, high banker on the run. Too hard. Jordan with a rebound. Jordan pursued by Payton. Payton will give Jordan over to Rashard Lewis. Jordan in the corner to Alexander. Courtney Alexander, good scorer. We've got to see him raise up, though. 10 to shoot. Alexander, checked by Mason to the baseline. Sends it outside to Jordan. Lunging for Lewis. Jordan gets off the shot. He's 0 for 13. Rebound corralled by Lewis. The Sonics break across midcourt. Payton darting into the lane. Hook pass to James. Be aware of who you're throwing the ball to. He underthrew James out of bounds.
Yeah, it's a tough pass by Gary that time. Nice intention, but down at his feet, the big fella is not 6 feet. You got to throw it up around the basket.
Gary knew it. 15 turnovers on the Sonics. Hamilton now sets up in the half court, swings it to Jordan, back to the bucket, double team. And illegal 3 seconds. Whistle on the Sonics defense. Free throw in possession now for the Wizards. 5 minutes left here in the third quarter. The Sonics lead is at 17. And Rip Hamilton heads to the line.
Well, they have to be careful here with the lead to not get complacent and remember what established this lead. Their great defense, great transition offense, and great half-court execution and sharing the basketball.
Hamilton knocks down the free throw. The Wizards have 2 non-scorers on the floor in White and Brown. Alexander is yet to find a groove. Hamilton has been silenced here in the third. Brown, 5 to shoot. Air ball. Sonics seal off White, but he got there too late. He was on the inline. Sonics will take possession.
And that's a big task to seal out Jahidi White. This guy is so big, when he goes outside, he blocks out the sun.
Ooh. And the earth shakes. 1 for 11 shooting for the Wizards here in the third quarter. A footnote. 16-point Sonic lead. 4:41 to go third quarter. Payton off the Lewis screen. Drives in left to right. Pushes it to Mason for the long flip. Nope. James after it. Tipped away by White. The last touch, they say, by James, out of bounds. It will be Washington ball. Bobby Simmons will step in now for Kwame Brown.
Washington going with essentially 4 guards on the floor and Jahidi White, trying to get some scoring.
Wizards last Sunday were hammered by Detroit by 22. Jordan turnaround jump shot off the mark. Jordan is 0 for 14 until he finds a loose ball on the scramble and lays it in with the left hand. 0 for 14. He finally finds the twine. And the crowd, most of them, stand and cheer Michael Jordan. He's 1 of 15. They're whooping it up now for Mike. 6 to shoot. Jordan is after Payton. Jordan double outside of Lewis for 3. Got it just as time it expired on the shot clock. So the party was short-lived here in Washington. The Sonics lead by 17.
And nice defense that time by the Wizards, but Rashard Lewis with another dagger to the heart.
Jordan right side for the jumper. That's off the mark. Rebound to Rashard Lewis. Jordan's only shot has been a putback on a scramble. Payton 1-2 right by Jordan into the lane. He's fouled. He'll shoot 2. 3:29 left in the third quarter.
Again, good recognition by Gary Payton. Jordan with the jump shot. Long rebound. Jordan a little tired. He knows he doesn't have the legs. Take it to the basket and make something happen.
Payton has played 30 minutes. He has scored 18 points with 10 assists and 4 rebounds. Make it 16 points this afternoon. Big part.
And just a solid all-around game. Doing a nice job of getting his teammates into the flow. Here's a game where you would think that he would come out and try to score in bunches, but Gary, the savvy veteran, knowing he needs the help in order for the Sonics to capture a win today.
Jahidi White will come out, and in will come Eaton Thomas.
Player out of Syracuse, very good shot blocking defender. Not much of a scorer, but gives this team some defensive toughness. He was a guy that during the draft several years ago, the Sonics looked at drafting if Desmond Mason wasn't available.
6'10" and 260. Wizards bring it up. Sonics by 19. 3:19 to go third quarter. Bobby Simmons had it. And he walks to the basket. And he is another rookie, Bobby Simmons, from DePaul. Timeout call on the floor by the Sonics with 3:15 to play in the third. The Soups leading the Wizards by 19 on the Sonics broadcasting network. 70-51, Sonics lead it by 19 with 3:15 to go in the third. And a reminder that Sonic 6-game ticket packages are on sale now. Sign up for ticket package A and watch the Sonics take on the world champion Lakers, the Magic, Raptors, Spurs, Mavs, and the Nets. Ticket package A starts as low as $120. That's $20 per ticket. Get your ticket package by calling 206-283-DUNK now. Operators are standing by. In the paint, Billy, the Sonics have had their way with the Wizards.
Well, and surprised with Ben Baker out of the lineup, when you don't have your offensive punch like Baker, you have to employ other methods to get into the paint. Penetration, post up by Payton, and penetration off the dribble by Brent Barry.
34-18, the Sonics have outscored the Wizards in the paint, and here in the third quarter. The Wizards shooting just 2 for 15. Chalk up another bucket in the paint as Jerome James turns and towers above the pack, just laid it in easily.
And again, Gary Payton made that play very easy for Jerome James with a great pass.
Dukes by 21, right side Hamilton, cutting off the screen, James in off balance, missed it, rebound, flipped away. After it, Eaton Thomas, but watching there to roll it down the floor. Just past to Mason, broken up by Alexander and out of bounds. The Sonics take possession of the ball.
Sonics rebounding, running the basketball, keeping with their game plan, which they failed to do against the Boston Celtics in a 12-point loss.
You know, in those 2 losses, you saw, well, in the 3 losses, exact, you saw Eddie Jones hit a tough jump shot with Payton in his mug to win it in overtime. You saw Jason Kidd take over in the fourth quarter. He's one of the top 10 players in the league, if not top 5 in the league. And then you saw Paul Pierce, who's going to be a perennial all-star, maybe beginning this year. Come up with a career-high 8 3-pointers in a marvelous game. You know, they were beaten by some pretty good individual play by some very good players on their home floor.
No question. Paul Pierce was absolutely phenomenal. Kidd has made that New Jersey team an excellent basketball team. But they also did some things to beat themselves, which they've eliminated that out of their game here in the first 3 quarters.
Payton spinning into the lane, lean in, scoop up and in. Oh, Payton just dazzles the crowd with a drop step to the middle, and then just snapped that wrist with a little side massage to lay it in.
No team defensive help there by the Wizards. The Sonics realizing they don't have a shot blocker back there in the field.
Love with 20 points, 11 assists. Sonics defensively set up, weak side action. Mason over there gets in the middle of a collision, and a foul called. Mason comes limping off. Now, he's had trouble with the hamstring here on this trip.
Gary Payton, once again, into the paint. The Wizards allowing the Sonics to get into the middle, which is a cardinal defensive sin, and the Sonics have been able to capitalize on this afternoon.
23-point Sonic lead. Oh, James taking it right down the toaster with a right hand.
It's time for a TL, baby.
Finds him spinning to the glass. Nice little high pick and roll.
The Sonics have just dismantled the Wizards this afternoon, and you can see it in their body language. They don't want to finish this game out strong.
25-point lead. For the Supes, Bobby Simmons, 1-on-1 to Radmanović to Rip Hamilton. Strolls into the lane, double pumps to the rack. James got a piece of that. Ball comes free. Hamilton goes down, picked up off the floor by Nesby. Now Alexander handles. Poked away by James. Loose ball. James puts it behind the back. Loose to midcourt. Barry fans it up the floor. It goes right between the gloves, legs, and out of bounds. And the Wizards take possession.
That had potential to be the play of the day with Jerome James playing the passing lane out on the floor. Brent Barry making a sensational save, but the glove just couldn't corral at that time.
Dick Pavetta making the call here along the sideline. All's play. Pavetta actually recreated the James spin move to save the ball at the sideline.
Looked a little bit like Michael Jackson, didn't he?
He did. He had a little thing going on there. A little spin and moonwalk the field. Here's Nesby double teamed outside to Hamilton. Shakes left, cuts right, shut off to Nesby. Throws outside to Alexander. It's a backcourt violation if he touches it. He's got to leap back there to save it, but threw it out of bounds. Sonics will take it. 47 seconds left in the third, and now the crowd begins to murmur, and the boos kind of hail down. 25-point Sonic lead with 42 seconds left in the third quarter. James comes out to pick high. He'll roll. Payton guns it over to Earl in the corner. Watson checks the oil, gives to Barry, over to Radmanović. Jump stop swing, shot block. Rodbo trying to get it back. And he reaches over for the loose ball foul.
Again, Radmanović taking it into the teeth of the defense there instead of the one dribble pull-up jump shot. Gary Payton probably telling him that very thing right now. Good ball movement that time by the Sonics. The Wizards made the adjustment on the pick and roll. Gary finds Earl Watson over in the left corner. Nice ball movement, but they just couldn't complete the play.
Sonics lead here by 25, 76-51, with 28 seconds left in the third quarter. Gary Payton on the heels of a 30-point, 10-assist, 5-rebound performance in the loss to Boston has come up with a sparkling 20-point, 12-assist effort here this afternoon. Played defense on Jordan, has forced Jordan to play defense as well. Mason's done a wonderful job in his matchup with Jordan today. Great learning experience for some young players on this Sonic group. Bobby Simmons at the line. Cashes in a couple of free throws, namely Jerome James and Earl Watson right now with Vladimir Radmanović. The youngsters on the floor working with Barry and Payton in tandem. And those two guys have clicked. Barry and Payton have. Payton on the spread floor, 9 to shoot. Alexander reaches in. I believe Courtney had a foul to give. He did. Wizards are now at the limit with 8 to shoot on the inbounds.
And Payton doing a nice job of shot clock management on that possession, knowing that you want to start your move to the basket with about 7 seconds left. Courtney Alexander giving the foul.
23-point lead for the Sonics. Radmanović brings it in bounds to Jerome James. Turns to the middle, fall away jumper by James. Nope. Payton in there digging for a rebound. Pokes it free to Simmons. 3-on-1 ahead to Hamilton. Into the lane to Simmons. To the glass, to the jam. 8/10 of a second left. Sonics will get it in bounds, and that'll end the third quarter. So the Sonics lead it here by a score of 76-55 as we head to 12 minutes of the fourth quarter on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Sonics lead it here 76-55 after 3 in the books. The Sonics outscore the Wizards 28-14 in the third to take command of this one. Friends, a reminder to join Sonics head coach Nate McMillan Wednesday, November the 14th at the Howard Johnson Plaza Hotel in Everett, Washington for a sports celebrity breakfast to benefit Operation Latchkey. Tables are still available. For more information on Operation Latchkey and the breakfast, call 425-355-9871. 355-9871. Along with Billy McKinney, Kevin Calabro on our nation's capital. Payton from the baseline. That jumper just a little too hard off the mark. Rip Hamilton with a rebound. Rolls up in the front court, lost the handle on the ball. Watson with quick hands pursues. Hamilton will scoop it up with 14 to shoot. Jordan missed his first 14 shots before finally sending in his first and only bucket of the afternoon. He's 1 for 16. He's back in now for a shift in the fourth quarter. Here's a follow-away jumper from MCI. Jordan finally hits a jumper.
Well, Sonics have a big lead here, but they can ill afford to relax.
The crowd gleefully cheers Michael Jordan. He knees up on Payton now with 11:10 left in the fourth quarter. Watson feeds to Earl. Make that to Art Long. Long on the attack. Bodies into a double team, and they call him for a walk.
Art Long perhaps trying to do a little bit too much. The Sonics had 20 assists after 3 quarters, so they have to continue to move the ball, make the Wizards work on defense here in the fourth quarter to maintain and possibly increase the lead.
19-point lead. Payton comes out along with Radmanović. The Sonics holding that lead. Tell you what, Art Long has got one of the more serious game faces that you'll see in the league. I mean, serious. Here's Simmons with the ball beyond the three-point arc. Just past left side to Hamilton. Pass inside. Knocked down by Long. Got up in the passing lane. Deflects it away into the hands of Mason. Up come the Sonics. Lewis raises out of the corner for 3. Mason's there, but tipped away from overhead and recovered by Bobby Simmons. Jordan jogs into the jumper this time. He'll float it up and in. The Michaels hit 2 in a row.
Well, Michael might be laughing and smiling, but believe me, you talk about wily and cunning. He's trying to ease his team back into the game.
17-point lead with 10:18 to go in the contest. Jordan with 10 for the contest. Watson picked up in a double team. Throws to Lewis, to Barry, to Mason for the jumper. No. Art Long is after, but tipped out by Thomas. Recovered by Hamilton. On the fly, to the glass. Foul. Hamilton will shoot 2. Now what has happened the last 2 trips down? The Sonics have gotten happy with the 3 pitch, or not the 3 ball, but the long pitch. The intermediate jumper rather than going to the rack. Exactly.
Rip Hamilton doing a nice job in transition. Earl Watson making a great play to prevent the basket, but the Sonics have to be very careful here not to become a perimeter team. Again, we talked about they have to remember what got them this lead. They were punishing the Wizards inside with the pick and roll plays, going to the basket, so they have to continue that trend here in the fourth quarter.
Rip with 19 points on 6 for 6. And Hamilton's second is up and in. 6-0 run by the Wizards. 15-point Sonic lead. 10 minutes to go in the contest. Watson sidewinds up in the front court, being watched by Hamilton. Barry comes out to pick high. Barry then fans out on the screen. Thomas plays the passing lane, deflects it away to Hamilton, up the floor to Thomas, to the glass, laid it in. And Nate is going to call a timeout. Wizards on an 8-0 run. Thomas foul, he'll go to the line.
And why you have to be cautious here, this team gets back within striking distance. Another tonic turnover, which we talked about in the fourth quarter in the last 3 games, has been a factor in the losses. Same thing here. Now you have a position where Michael Jordan can get this team and help them win a game with his experience.
Thomas with a free throw up and in. And the Sonics call a timeout. A 9-0 run by the Wizards, and they're back into this baby. Sonics lead by 12, and the crowd is aroused in D.C. on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. The Sonics lead has been trimmed to 12 with 9:46 to play here in Washington, D.C. Let's take a look at the Miller Genuine Draft. What's on tap? Get refreshment down cold. Cold filtered MGD. On Tuesday, the Sonics meet the Suns. On Friday, the Golden State Warriors. And on Saturday, the Denver Nuggets. And a reminder, great seats are available for that game against the Suns. To get your tickets, log on to supersonics.com or visit Ticketmaster or call 1-800-4-NBA-TICKET. Payton on the way to the rack. Going lefty off the window, up and in with a scoop on the move. Blowing by Jordan to the baseline. 22 for Payton. A tonic for the Sonics. A 14-point lead. Jordan into the lane. Payton rips. Jordan, but a foul call on the glove for the reach-in.
Again, Gary being inserted back into the lineup, and I'm sure at the timeout, Nate talked about the Sonics getting back to the basket, which Gary Payton did. Converted the basket. The Sonics go the other way and foul Jordan.
Well, the Sonics' first bucket of the fourth quarter. Gary Payton scoop way to the rack. Here's Jordan to the line. The free throw up and in. The Wizards had gone on a 9-0 run to pull within 12 at the 9:46 mark. The Sonics' biggest lead was 25 points late in the third. Jordan with the flash bulbs going off like fireflies in the Midwest cornfields on a summer's night. It's the second free throw. Jordan now with 12 points. 78-66 count. Lewis outside, checked by Kwame Brown. 13 to shoot. Driving, goes to the paint hard. Had to lean back on the way, missed it. Jordan secures the rebound. Jordan will bring it across midcourt. Being watched by Mason. Mason will give Lewis. Michael Jordan for the fallback jumper. Get it out. Rebound. Fought for. Controlled by Bobby Simmons. And he laid it in on the follow.
Sonics getting a little lax on defense and on the boards now. We've seen this the last 3 games. They have to be very cautious here.
Jordan smiling at Gary Payton with 14 to shoot. Payton reverses his field right to left over to Barry. Breaks to the baseline. Shut off to Payton. Pump fakes Jordan. Steps back. Finds Lewis. Outside. He's got a cock and fire. That's short. Rebound deflected. Mason fans it, but into the hands of Michael Jordan. 10-point Sonic lead with 8:28 to play in the ball game. Jordan front court left. Mason studies it. Crossover Jordan. Blast to the glass. Double pump. Payton there from behind. Blocks the shot. Pulls it down. Jordan is still down to the opposite end of the floor. Payton up the floor to Barry for 3. Pushes it up too hard. Rebound tipped outside and a loose ball foul called on Art Long of the Sonics.
Well, great defense that time by the Sonics. Trying to keep Michael Jordan out of the paint, but when he goes, you have to have help. 3 people over there to thwart the shot, but the Sonics not taking advantage of a 4-on-5 on the other end as you look at Art Long, Gary Payton, and Rashard Lewis surround Michael Jordan on his drive to the basket.
No, they didn't take advantage of it, Billy. They settled for a 3-point shot. Here's Bobby Simmons. He's curling into the lane, and Kwame Brown meets him with a pass with a jam. And the Sonics lead of 25 late in the third. Now cut to 8. With plenty of time left in this one, 7:45 remaining. Sonics have got to tighten up their defense. 11 to shoot. Barry to Lewis, need a bucket. Nope. Rebound, Art Long. Ripped away from Kwame Brown and recovered off the floor by Lewis. The Sonics reset. Payton right side to Mason. Trying to drive on Jordan, who swats it away. Mason retreats to get it. One-on-one, Mason settles for a jump shot, and he hit it. Desmond Mason with 11 on the clock, elevated for the J. The Sonics lead is back to 10.
And a good patience by Desmond after a great initial stop by Michael Jordan.
Jordan to midcourt. Jordan to front court. Checked by Mason. 15 to shoot. MJ cross court to Hamilton. He's got a 3. Up and in. And the Sonics lead is trimmed to 7 with 6:57 remaining in the game.
Now Jordan getting his teammates involved, getting them some life and confidence.
Hamilton with 23 for the game. Payton outside. He will shoot a 3. That's good. Payton comes back with a 3-pointer. 25 for Gary. 10-point Sonic lead. 6:37 remaining in the game. Jordan jogs into front court. Mason shadows him to the corner. Jordan goes baseline. Double pump to reverse off the window. 3 ball tipped by Thomas out of bounds. Sonic ball. Michael just had no lift.
No lift, but he's showing signs that what he can still do is get by you. But he can't make those fantastic finishes game after game as he did years ago.
Jordan now 3 for 21 in this contest. 10-point Sonic lead. Busted out left side Mason. Chest pass from Payton to Mason. Mason 1-on-1 shoot. Desmond will drive, go to the hole. He's going to just try to throw down on Kwame Brown. Good strategy. Foul on Brown sends Mason to the line for a deuce.
Again, nice recognition by Desmond Mason, knowing that Simmons can't stay with him. He goes in with the one-arm war hoop. A great play by Kwame Brown to stop himself from being on a poster. A Desmond Mason poster.
Mason, the slam dunk champion of the NBA All-Star game. Played right here in D.C. this past year. Mason's free throw off the mark. He hit the first, missed the second. The Sonics lead by 11 with 6 minutes remaining in the game.
And they have to get a couple stops here to kind of diminish the confidence of the Washington Wizards here in the next 6 minutes.
Jordan feeds over to Bobby Simmons. Shakes right, cuts left, goes baseline. Shot is snuffed by Art Long. Blocks it to Barry. Lead pass to Payton. He threw it on a dime. The glove had it blocked by Hamilton. Got it beneath the rim. Tried to twirl it up. Knocked down by Kwame Brown. Brown with the rebound. Sends it to Hamilton out of backcourt. Cross court to MJ. Running at him, Lewis. Jordan will adjust. He'll hit the jump shot. That might have been the best jumper we've seen him take tonight. He has got full extension on that one.
Boy, he took his time, got Rashard Lewis to bite on the pump fake.
9-point lead for the Sonics. 5:23 to go in the game. Supes trying to hang on. Payton isolated on Jordan. Backs him, turns to step back. Blocked by Jordan. Recovered by Thomas. Ahead of Michael. 2-on-2. Jordan the pull-up. Off the mark. Simmons with a rebound. Outside to Hamilton. He's had the hot hand. He will hold with 5 minutes to play. Nope, he'll shoot a three. Air ball. Grabbed beneath the rim by Simmons. Tied up, stolen away by Barry. Saves it to Lewis. Clears midcourt. On the fly with Jordan on his hip. Outside, he'll steer it to Mason. The Sonics set up. Payton to Barry. A three. Up and in. Why not? Brent Barry with a three-pointer. And the Sonics take the lead at 87-75 with 4:44 to go in the fourth quarter. Barry with 17, Payton with 25, leading the Sonics. We'll be back to see if they can put the Wizards away on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. Well, the Sonics now have a 12-point lead with 4:40 left here in this fourth period of play. And take a look at this defensive stop a moment ago, Billy.
Oh, the action is heating up here. As you see, Art Long again being very active. Great defense. Jordan coming alive, showing Payton that he still has a little lift left in his legs. And then Bones Barry, after a really great sequence of defense, steps up and knocks down the three.
And that was a heartbreaker there for the Wizards. They had rotated well on defense. Barry's played 40 minutes, has hit 6 of 9 from the field. 17 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. And Gary Payton with 13 assists and 25 points. The Sonics hold a 12-point lead. They're not out of the woods yet. 4:34 left in the game. Michael one-on-one of Brent Barry. Jordan backs down. Long locks him up. Barry reaches in. Jordan the following jumper. Good. Holy cow. Michael Jordan gets out of a jam. He'll show glimpses of his past greatness. 5 of 24 for Michael. He has scored 10 of his 16 in the fourth quarter. Payton chest pass to Lewis. A three. Up and off. Rebound tip. Back into the hands of Jordan. Spots a man down the floor. Simmons sneaks to the glass. Hauled down by Payton. He's fouled. He missed a shot. Will have to shoot 2. The Sonics lead here is at 10 points with 3:59 left.
Vintage Jordan on that last jump shot, just taking his time there, alertly looking up the floor for a streaking Bobby Simmons. Good foul by Gary Payton, and a nice thing about it, hard foul preventing the basket from dropping, completing a three-point play. Make them earn them.
Here's Simmons.
He bears a remarkable resemblance physically
Pookie
and his
Snow.
game to Pookie Snow, but also Lionel Simmons, who played for the Sacramento
right.
Kings.
Absolutely.
Their games are very similar.
I thought for sure you would. You're looking at him, he looks a lot like a young Eric Snow, just in his face. Of course, Simmons is 6'7", 6'8", as Lionel, the L train.
I don't know if Eric would be happy about that comparison.
87 set, but he is happy that McKee and Iverson are back. Boy, they got busy last night. Didn't take them long to get back in the groove. 3:40 left in the ballgame. Payton backs down double to Mason. Need a jumper here. Got it. Desmond Mason with a solid stroke. He gets better and better with that jump shot. 14 for the Cowboys.
A clutch shot, clutch assist for Payton.
11-point lead. Driving into the lane. Jordan blows to the hole, blew the lay-in. Rebound corralled by Lewis in the clutter. Michael having a horrible shooting afternoon. 5 for 24. He had missed his first 14 shots in this game before scoring on a putback. Payton drifts into the corner, checked by Hamilton, 11 to shoot, and a foul called on Hamilton on the pass-off.
Gary recognizing once again Jordan being a little fatigued here, not defending Payton. Payton recognizing that Rip Hamilton cannot defend him in the low post. So every time Gary goes into the low post, you're going to see a double-team action like teams have tried to take the ball out of his hands. Gary making an open pass to Desmond Mason. He knocks it down for a big shot.
Jordan averages 36 minutes. He's at that now. Payton fires a three over him and sends in an arrow. Gary Payton, a three ball straight away. What a beauty. Payton with 28 points on 10 of 20 shooting. The Sonics as a team have hit 11 of 21, 52% from three. 14-point Soups lead, 2:52 to go in the game. Simmons, long J, got it. Bobby Simmons, the rookie from DePaul, knocks it down.
Nice move and nice patience by Bobby Simmons with the step-back jumper.
It gallops across midcourt. Working Jordan on his shoulder and hip, spins it, goes into the lane, laid it up. And a foul is called. Brent Barry was knocked down on the play, but the foul's called on the ball.
People don't understand how brilliant Gary Payton is. Just great structure to the game plan there, making Jordan work on defense.
With 2:31 remaining in the game, Payton leading the Sonics with 28 points and 14 assists, and the Sonics with a 12-point spread on the Sonics Broadcasting Network. 12-point Sonic lead with 2:31 remaining in the ballgame. Time now to take a look at the bench comparison brought to you by your Northwest Dodge dealers. Grab life by the horns.
Here, Earl Watson again doing a stellar job, finding his way to get rebounds, and Art Long with a nice assist from Brent Barry has stepped up big time here for the Sonics this afternoon, a critical element to this team's success this afternoon. Long with 10 points, 8 rebounds, Earl Watson 5 points, 2 assists, and several outstanding defensive plays.
Long is credited with 3 steals after 3 quarters, but as I recall, he picked off a pass here in the 4th quarter. He does in fact have 4 steals now as Payton heads to the line.
Using his quickness for a guy that is big and strong as Art, he moves extremely well.
30 points, 14 assists, 6 rebounds for Gary, 7 of 8 from the line, 10 of 20 from the field. Another magnificent performance turned in by the glove. The Sonics by 14. Jordan outside for the 3. Rebound grab by Art Long. Jordan, if you're keeping track, 5 for 25 shooting. Coming off a 10 for 32 performance Friday night and the loss to the Golden State Warriors. Here at home, Payton driving into the lane again. The right-hander loves to go left. And that time he blows by the Wizards again and keep forgetting that aspect of Gary's game. 12 in the 4th quarter for the glove, 32 for the contest. Simmons backs down, double. Spins baseline, picks up the dribble. Needs help. Tosses outside to Kwame Brown, 8 to shoot. 1:41 left. Kwame Brown jump stop. Pushes it up with 2 hands, missed it. Rebound tipped outside to Gary Payton, waiting for numbers. Bounces to Bones, cuts to the glass, and lays it up and in. Brent Barry going right to the rack, and the Sonics just trying to make sure they put the Wizards away for good. Lead by 18 with 1:26 left.
They've kept their composure after Washington made their run.
Hamilton with it, operating in the corner. Outside to Kwame Brown. To Jake. That was the only real sustained run that the Wizards made in this game, was that 9-0 run earlier in the quarter that got them to within 12 of the 9:46 mark. Here's Mason with it. Swinging outside to Payton, 1-on-1 on Jordan. Hold up, use the clock, 6 to shoot. Mason with it, 4 to shoot. Okay, rimming short. Jordan with the rebound. 16-point Sonic lead, 49 seconds left in the ballgame. Driving baseline is Hamilton following a jumper under duress. Nope. Long tips it away. He is right now working toward a double-double. 10 points, 9 boards for Art Long.
Nice effort by the youngster out of the University of Cincinnati.
Whistle. And a foul's on Jordan for trying to guide Payton along with the forearm. That'll allow Jordan to get out, and Alexander will step in with 33 seconds left in the game. Let's take a look at our KeyBank game summary. KeyBank, achieve anything.
Well, we talked about defensive intensity, which the Sonics brought tonight. They contained Jordan. He had an off-shooting night, and they did an excellent job of gathering the rebounds and playing excellent transition basketball, limiting their turnovers.
Boy, it doesn't get any easier for the Washington Wizards. Milwaukee coming in here Tuesday, and then Thursday, the Utah Jazz are here as well. Technical foul whistled on Michael Jordan, as Doug Collins just looks on with a totally unemotional type of stare out onto the floor.
Well, you have to expend that emotion at the right time, and you know this one is out of reach. Sonics up by 16 with 19 seconds to play, and the Sonics have done an excellent job of distributing the basketball today. I believe they have 26 assists, and anytime they've had over 25, it's meant great things for the Sonics.
That's Billy McKinney's litmus test. If you have 25 or more assists, you're going to win a ball game. Or be real close.
You're going to be in the game.
14 seconds left in this one. The Sonics lead it by 17. And led by as many as 25 deep in the third quarter. Simmons pump fakes. Nice reverse for the youngster. Added to Paul in Chicago. He lays it in. Gary will hold, and that will be that. Game over. So the Sonics win it here this afternoon against the Washington Wizards and break a 3-game losing streak. For the Wizards, it means they have now lost 4 in a row. The Sonics end the game on a 12-4 run to take a 99-85 victory here today at the MCI Center. We'll recap it for you in a moment on the Sonics Broadcasting Network.